Kyle, tell us what drove you onto the Ducati brand and how you got here.
I was drawn to the V4R because of, the wings and.
Oh, you better be alert. I might just throw a random fry in the middle. Oh, who's faster? That was good.
So here's the new V2. They finally put Ducati finally put the L2 versus V2 moniker debate to rest. So the V2 gets last year's V4 bodywork, and obviously the V4 gets the full R treatment with the side heat extractors and the wings. I believe this motor is Euro 5, but they've actually squeezed another 5 horsepower out of it, out of this Super Quattro. But because it's Euro 5, it actually washes out. I think it's 155 horsepower with the crank. So you even get the V4 tail lights. I really do like this Watts linkage. People don't like the side-mounted shock, but I think it's pretty cool. And it's good to see they're still making a V-twin powered sports bike. Sport bike. So Ducati actually revised the traction control system on this bike. They talked about it a little bit in their world premiere, but supposedly it reduces the torque fluctuations at cornering about 15%. So there's less oscillation in the torque delivery, less pump, better traction, and better stability, obviously. And that's true with both of their sport bikes, the V4 and the V2. They've been trying to make the bikes more rideable, more consistent as far as track times. The Panigales are very aggressive motorcycles to ride, so it's very difficult to have very smooth, consistent track times. Yeah, so it's still the same tubular rear subframe. The 1199, 1299 actually uses a casting here, Vacurol casting. It's a vacuum-enhanced type casting method. So it's still a plastic cover over a tubular subframe. And actually, a lot of people still use the 899, 959, and now V2 tubular rear subframe for racing, just because it's lighter than the aluminum Vacurol casting on the 1199, 1299. It's funny, Ducati uses all the Buffalo. So this year's V4 gets last year's V4R bodywork, and this year's V2 gets last year's V4 Panigale bodywork. So you got to use all the Buffalo. I wasn't crazy about this side cladding, these upper fairings on the V4. I'm kind of glad they ditched them. There's just something odd about it. So I believe this bike's MSRP is around $15,999. So it's still a competitive middleweight, sport bike. If you're looking at a GSX-R 750, this would be a good bike to test ride. It's still pretty cost competitive. TFT dash, manual suspension adjustments. You also get a single-sided swing arm with the V2. With the updated foot pegs. They've been doing that for a few years now. All right, let's sit on this baby. Yeah, it's pretty much my bike. I'd say the bars feel a little bit wider, actually. Pretty comfortable. This stock seat is pretty much as comfortable as my Ducati comfort seat. Oh yeah. So this is obviously the old Panigale gas tank here. It's carried over from the 899, 1199, 1299, 959. It's obviously manual suspension adjustments. They've updated the controls, so it looks like the plastic moldings have been updated. The switches feel a little cheap. Actually, the start switch feels pretty good. But I like the old Hideaway start switch. These feel a lot better, actually. Yeah, it's good. I like it. Yeah, I've got the 1199. So yeah, there's a little bit more room in the seat. That's one thing I noticed. I still have the same knee points. You can really tuck in under the tank. Yeah. I like the levers too. They updated the levers. Nice.
V4.
So this bike's been accessorized. Got the Speciale grips here. You've got this carbon tank cover. And then you get a hugger here, a front hugger that's carbon fiber reinforced plastic. There are some other carbon bits on here. Carbon swing arm cover. You got the Acra system here. You don't have the carbon rear hugger, but you have a carbon heat shield. Another carbon heat shield here for the Acra system. For 2020, the Panigale is sporting the V4R body treatment. So this means a bigger front fairing and windscreen. You get the side heat extractors and the wings. I was never a big fan of the old Panigale side fairings. Just something weird about them. And I was hoping they'd integrate the R's Guild heat extractors. Not sure I'm crazy about the more bulbous front end, but or these wings. But I definitely like the side fairings a lot better than last year's bike. Engine's unchanged. It's still 1103cc V4, 214 horsepower. Ducati's flagship also gets the revised Evo 2 electronic system to overhaul its rideability, for all skill levels and improve its consistency around the track. The traction control system reduces the torque fluctuations in both frequency and amplitude to improve drive out of the corners. So I think they've tried to tame some of the overall aggressiveness of the bike, and I'm glad they're listening to their customers. Not everyone can be an Alessandro Valleja. So Ducati achieved rideability through a coalition of minor tweaks to the bike, which included raising the ride height, using lower spring rates, for a reduced ride frequency, and utilizing the more compliant Panigale R front subframe. So this isn't just a powder-coated version of last year's frame. They've machined lightning holes into the component to improve compliance in twist and bending for a better feel and overall grip. Ducati claims they've also refined the quick shifter and the blepa. This is $23K for the base and I think $29K in S trim. The S gets the electronic Öhlins and the forged aluminum Marchesini wheels with the friggin' stickers you can wash off. I think the bike's available in January of 2020. So these wings are actually made from GRP, which is glass reinforced plastic rather than carbon fiber. And probably just a cost savings. So it's a pigmented resin system, that's why it looks black. And this thing is mobbed. Glass fiber is about a third the stiffness of carbon fiber. The strengths are actually, S-glass strength is actually pretty similar to carbon fiber. At about, say, 55% fiber volume fraction, the carbon fiber is about 20% lighter and about 3 times stiffer. So you're really gaining stiffness, not really strength from carbon fiber. There's some grades of carbon like a T800 or a T1100, like an ultra-high modulus carbon is like an 80 million modulus, which is almost 3 times stiffer than steel. So you're really getting a very high specific stiffness with carbon fiber. Electronic Öhlins.
Mi piace pensare che come una retta è costituita.
That's a lot of horsepower.
They hail you every day.
of the